Hello everyone, Anita here and welcome to another video. Today we are starting a new series, and when I say we, it doesn't only mean me because there are more artists doing the exact same thing as I am right now. Today we are basically launching the Animal Artist Collective, which is a group of artists who basically paint to help animals. That's how I see it. If you want to know specific information about the Animal Artist Collective, there is a bunch of info in the description below, because I didn't want to lose any of it. I wanted to make sure it was, perfect. So it's all over there. All the links, all the information is over there. In my own words, it's basically what we're doing is a bunch of artists got together, and at the moment every month, but later bi-monthly, we're going to create pieces of artwork and then sell them, and the profits from that art is going to go towards animal charities. That's basic information that you have to know. And so this month, this is the launch, the first month, and the co-founders have decided that for this month we are going to have a theme of rainforest. Now in the future, hopefully the themes will be decided by the community, but at the moment, since it's the beginning, we're just going to go through the biggest biomes, like in this case the rainforest. I've had a little bit of a trouble in this case. I was very, very nervous about this piece because, this is this big cause we're doing this for. There has to be a proper piece. But as you can see me doing in the background, I'm kind of just slapping paint around. It's a very, not very Anita-like here. That I'm just slapping things, leaving a bunch of water on the paper, not really caring much about where the paint goes. And that's because, I've been, like I've said, really intimidated by this piece to the point where I turned myself into this whole ball of nerves, and I couldn't start the piece. And at some point I've decided, it all kind of went towards the fact that I thought constantly about what was I expected to paint instead of what I wanted to paint. I really didn't feel like making any kind of story fairy tale painting. I just wanted to paint something simple, just play with color, just have some fun. And so that's what I did. Last minute, I've changed my design, I've changed my idea, and went for something simple. Now, as you can see, I'm painting on several different pieces of paper. And that's because the most fun I've ever had while creating a piece was when I was making any kinds of my layered pieces. So those 3D, like the one with the hamster in Wonderland, and more recently the one I did on painted leaves. These were the ones that I had most fun painting. Now, they're actually more time consuming than regular paintings, but they just give me much more pleasure. And so I've decided that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a layered painting. Okay. For the animal theme of rainforest, I've decided to choose two animals. One was the blue Morpho butterfly, which is just the most amazing butterfly ever. You guys know by now probably I love blue. That's my favorite color. And I've never really paid attention much to animals living in rainforest. I am more drawn towards very woodland creatures like foxes and mice and, the more common animals. So it was actually quite an adventure just to look what animals are living in the rainforest. I mean, obviously I knew some, but it was just, I actually took my time reading about it and kind of educating myself about what problems rainforests are facing, which as usually when everybody knows these things, like, oh yeah, our rainforests are in danger, but what exactly the problems are, that's just kind of like more of a tricky question, at least to me. So it was very nice to actually take some time and educate myself about it. And I really decided to choose 2 animals because I like to create a little bit of a scene. I feel like my pictures are more about the action that's happening between characters rather than the actual display of a character. So by taking 2 animals, I had opportunity for a story, to kind of an easier way to create a story. So I've chosen, like I've said, the blue Morpho butterflies, which are just blue, that was it. They're blue. I love those butterflies. They're so beautiful. And then I've chosen the second animal was capybara, which is, for me, I just love them. They are so absolutely cute. They're just basically giant guinea pigs. And I've been watching capybara videos on YouTube for the longest time. And they're just so funny. They just look like they're constantly half asleep. That's just my general idea of a capybara. They're not exactly endangered, but they live in that habitat. And of course, I'm taking a little bit of an artistic, freedom here of portraying those 2 animals together, because I don't think they would actually ever meet in a natural, in the wilderness, and also not in a situation like I'm drawing. But just, I've never really drawn things based on reality. I've always loved kind of more imaginative approach, more fairy tale approach, I guess. And that's why I've decided to make a little scene with capybaras and blue Morpho butterflies. Now, the picture that really stuck in my head when the inspiration behind this piece was this picture of those butterflies swarming on, I don't know if swarming is exactly the good word for it, but there was this group of butterflies sitting on a tree. They were just kind of like one over the other, a whole bunch of them. And I just love that picture. There's just so much blue in it. I love blue in nature. Anything blue in nature is, for me, just a win, and I am drawn to it immediately. Blue flowers, blue insects, anything blue birds. Just, for me, blue in nature is just the most mystical, amazing color ever. It's pure magic. On a side note, did you actually know that that's a fun fact that I've learned, which kind of surprised me, that the blue Morpho butterflies are actually not really blue. It's just the optical illusion, which was kind of funny because, that was the whole magic. They're blue. But I guess the fact that they appear blue and they are not really blue is magic itself. So about this piece, as you can see, I'm just flipping through the pieces of paper and just painting whatever at the time. And I am taking really, really, really loose approach to this piece. And I'm having so much fun with it. More fun than I had painting in months. No pressure whatsoever. I mean, of course, in the back of my head, there was this, I'm hitting stuff. There was this constant little bit of is this good enough question? Because, of course, I am here representing a cause. This is a new group. We have to do our best of the best. Of course, I'm also with other artists, so it's not only me. So if I'm not going to make something decent, it's going to, it's going to look bad for the other artists as well. So in the back of my head, I was constantly like, please work, please look pretty. But at the same time, I didn't want to stress myself too much. I really wanted to just play. I guess that's the probably the best word here. I just wanted to play. And you can see me doing, I don't know if you notice, probably if you've watched a lot of my videos, you will notice that I am being extremely random with everything. I am just using colored pencils without just dabbing it everywhere. The paint there are blooms in it. Okay, I don't do blooms in paint. I hate blooming paint in general. I just kind of, there is no real plan. I do outlines very sketchy. I'm putting colors wherever. As you can see, there's a little bit of blue, there was purple, pink, gray. I'm just trying out colors directly on the drawing without care, because I was tired. I was tired of constantly planning, and it was just draining me, I think. So it was really, really nice actually to just let go of that for a little bit. I'm hoping that's going to continue because it was very, very beneficial. So here is actually a little clip where you can see I'm taking those things out of an envelope because I was so late with this painting. Like I've said, I've started it again late. So I was cutting this out while visiting, and this is actually the first time I put everything sort of together and saw how the colors worked, because of course I knew these colors would work, but I didn't plan it ahead. This was just pure experimentation. So I was very, very excited, and because it was just kind of I saw the goal already, so I was getting a little bit more relaxed. And here with this is wood actually. Another very good example of how loose, I can't really find a better word, how random, not really random, but it's just how free is a good word, how free this piece was. There are colors. I just dropped all the colors in one wash. I never do that. I let the colors bloom. I let them just do their own thing. Now I'm just kind of haphazardly dropping lines without really caring if this is how wood is supposed to look like, or this is how the lines would go in nature. No, I'm really not thinking about it at all. I'm just kind of just doing my own thing, trying to trust my gut feeling. I think I don't trust myself at all. That's how I feel. I don't trust my instincts when it comes to painting. I mean, I should, right? I'm an artist. I should trust my instincts and trust just the gut telling me, yeah, that fits there, without having to plan everything. And I'm not saying about, just trying to, making thumbnail sketches or something like that. But I was really, for the past few paintings, I was making little mock-ups in Photoshop, which was very helpful, but it felt also very stiff. It wasn't fun at all. I was very happy with the result, but the whole experience was very stressful. And I don't think that art should be stressful. I mean, it's fine to feel pressure sometimes, but if you're stressing yourself too much, that's also not good. So yeah, as you can see here, I'm just doodling. I'm literally just doodling, and I'm loving it so much. And this piece is just was so much fun. I wasn't caring about anything. My lines were crooked, so be it. I love sketchy lines. Actually, I've always loved sketches more than line arts. Line arts always seemed so cold to me. Okay, there was not enough. There's just lines. I mean, you can put weight in the line, but it's still very cold, and there is not really, I don't know, I hated it, and I always ended up adding stuff on top to kind of soften the lines. And that's what I'm doing here a lot as well, just kind of switching between pencils and fine liners. So here I'm trying to cut out this frame because I needed it to be, I needed to see how it would lay on top of the background, because I wanted to put a little bit of a foliage design in the background. So I needed to see how it would wear so that I didn't, so that the design kind of made sense. Here's a good tip, by the way, if you're doing any kind of cutout pieces like this one, or maybe you're thinking about it. When you have like you can see me here, I'm actually going inside the paper and adding black ink, and this is my very trusty fluffed up Pitt pen that I've had for years now. It's just black ink that I'm adding inside at the edge of the paper just to make it look more finished. And it looks much better than just leaving it white. At least, depends where. But most of the time, if there is any kind of black outline, you kind of want to wrap it around the paper, if you know what I mean. So that's a really good tip, actually. I've learned that a very long time ago watching actually card making videos where a lady was stamping. She was cutting out that stamp and then she was adding that black outline around the stamp, the image, because, she was just wrapping that, the ink. She was just adding the ink on the sides of the paper. And I loved that. And I just kind of pulled it towards my own watercolor pieces. So here I'm actually, you saw me trying out that frame and I'm adding the leaves. And at the same time, I'm actually spraying all the pieces in the tool shed with a fixative, because they were the colored pencils I'm using in this piece. I love them. They're so soft and they're so smooth and they add so much texture, but they also smudge really easily. They're almost, I would kind of compare them to a little bit harder soft pastel. That's how much they smudge, which is a good thing, of course, for blending. But when I was cutting that frame, the wooden frame, I had it left over, like the pigment was coming off on my hands. So I've decided, you know what, I'm just going to spray it now. Initially, I wanted to spray the finished piece. I'm just going to spray all the layers just to have it nicely done, because eventually I want to, be able to attach everything together. I was kind of afraid that maybe the powder would be in the way of that, or maybe it would transfer when I was moving, pieces around. So I didn't want to, have any troubles. I just decided, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna spray it. And here I'm playing with the leaves. I've decided to just leave 2 because honestly, nothing else is visible in that tiny little bit that's showing. This piece is mostly, this background is mostly for just, how would you say it? Stability, I guess. When you layer those, all the sheets together, they are really nice and sturdy. And it creates this kind of nice feeling that there is a real body to the paper, almost like a canvas. I love that. And so, of course, not a lot of is visible from the background. So I've decided, you know what, I'm not gonna spend extra time adding details to the background, even though it would look awesome, but it wouldn't be visible, So what's the point? So I've put a lot of effort into these leaves, and I've shaded them with colored pencils because why not? Literally, why not? I've decided to I like adding details with colored pencils, but I've always felt that I should add more detail with watercolor, just because I'm a, quote unquote, watercolor artist. But I am not really, so I'm probably going to be, using more colored pencils from now on in my art, because I just like the texture they add. And maybe it's just a phase. So here you can see clearly how I'm putting everything together. And I've actually slowed down this part of the video. It's not as fast as the previous one, because I find that this is actually, I can really give you some new information here that's not that often, doesn't appear often on my channel. So I'm actually trying to figure out how many layers I want to add. I don't have that much foil, foam, the 3D foam. And so I've pulled out some stickers, like the letter stickers that I thought would work really well as an additional, bulk. But also, I don't want this piece to be too thick. I actually want it to be only preferably 2 foams thick. So that's around, I think they're like 3 millimeters. So basically, I think the piece is 5 millimeters thick. the finished piece. So here I'm adding a lot of foam to the frame, and I first placed the capybara because he is really big. That's the mama or papa capybara. So he's really, really big, and I've also only taped him at the bottom because I really liked how I wanted him to be quite flat. I wanted him to be under the frame, but I also wanted to have this kind of feeling like maybe he's peeking into that wooden, oh my god, how do you call those places in the tree? Like you have a hole in the tree. How do you call that? I can't remember the name. but you know what I mean, right? So as you can see, he's kind of like the top of the capybara is not attached. Eventually, I'm going to put one of those stickers, the letter stickers, just to have him so that he doesn't flatten out, so that there is something he can kind of like rest on. And here I'm adding the baby capybara in the same way. So I'm adding only at the bottom is taped, and then I'm adding a little foam piece to the top so that he kind of like pokes up, like it kind of like perks up. And this is a very funny story, by the way, here. Because I pulled out those stickers because I thought they would work exactly as the foam tape would. And I was completely convinced that this is going to work. And if you're having like, I don't know why, this is the most derpy moment I've had in weeks. But it just hit me once I was placing those stickers, the letter stickers, behind the capybaras, that they're not double-sided. They're just like, they have glue on one side. It was the most derpy feeling ever. So what I actually did, because I ran out of the tape before I used it all basically on the frame, because I was counting on the stickers. So what I did, there was a little bit left on the roll, on the little tube where the tape was mounted on. I ripped that off. It still had glue on one side, and then on the other side I placed some of the double-sided tape that I'm using. And by the way, because this piece is for sale, it's also worth mentioning that everything I'm using is actually archival quality. So the tape, both the foam tape and the tape that I'm attaching everything with, they're all scrapbooking tapes. Very expensive tapes, but they're all archival quality and they're really, really good. I've been using them for years as well. Very, very sticky. They're supposed to be archival quality, so no acids or anything like that to ruin, the painting. So here I'm basically attaching the butterflies, and the painting, the piece is done. And I was so ecstatic by that point, you have no idea. I love that blue so much, and the piece came together so nicely. Now maybe you've noticed it in the beginning, there were two paws on the capybara. I lost one of them. I think I left them at the place where I was visiting, because I remember very distinctly cutting it out, but it wasn't in the envelope, so I think I've just lost it somewhere there. But overall, I am extremely pleased. I haven't been this happy after finishing a piece in months, guys. Seriously, it's crazy, because most of the time I just feel exhausted. And of course I'm tired because it's been several hours, very rushed. Never start new things this late. That's kind of a lesson for this time. But I'm also so extremely happy with this piece, so proud of it. And that's, most of the time I'm just like, nah, it's good. But this time I'm actually really, really, really happy. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now because we're at the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something new. If you would like to purchase this painting for a good cause. There's a link to my store in the description. The painting is up for sale right now, so you can check that out. And of course, you know, since there are other artists participating, so, you know, once again, there are links in the description to their channels, and they will be sharing their videos as well. So give them, you know, give them some time and watch what they're created, which is basically what will be doing right now after I finish this video. So thank you so very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.